Those games which, off the back of, because of the belief it gives the players and the boost it gives everyone, you can actually ask more of the players again?
Well, we're always asking more and we're always demanding more, really, because you never ever get your perfect 90 minutes. And certainly it was a perfect result for us on the night, but it wasn't a perfect 90 minutes. And if it was, even Man United, Man City's, Arsenal's don't give you a perfect 90 minutes every game. So you have to be careful that you're not trying to get somewhere that you're never going to get, but you do keep striving to improve. And I think that's really the nature of your question, sort of spin it a bit and say that, yeah, we're trying to improve on our performances individually as well as collectively all the time. But they look like they're getting there. There's some very effective performances on the day. And at all levels, and on occasions, your goalkeeper's got to do some work, because otherwise there'd be no need for a goalie.
And back in touch with Forest Green again, so if they slip up, you're in position to take advantage. How much does it help just having that carrot a little bit closer in focus?
Well, Russ said to me at the end of the game that he didn't like to tell me we were 7 points off Forest Green at half-time. And of course, it was much more easier to take that we was only 2 points off them towards the end, and that's the nature of it at the moment, and it will be toing and froing for a little while, but not just with us and Forest Green. There's other teams now that will be coming to the fore just before Christmas, and so eventually it ends up a sort of 10-team championship race, and first thing is you've got to make sure you're in that. But yeah, they let their goal in the 94th minute, and we scored our goal in the 94th minute. So it was great news when we come off that a lot of the teams that were up there challenging had lost points.
Eastleigh, of course, did you that favour, and now you face them, and they'll feel they're in a good bit of form. They
are in a good bit of form, and you mustn't forget they've got a game in hand and 6 points behind us. So for us, it will be good to get the 3 points, because that does put a little bit of distance between you then. But for them, they will see it as a big bonus to come to our stadium and beat us and be within 3 points with a game in hand. So to be fair to them, they've had a good little run, and that's a good result, beating Forest Green late on. So as you say, they're in form. So it'll be a cracking game. I mean, I enjoy them games where the prize is massive.
And as we talk, we don't know who their new manager is going to be. It's expected later today. How difficult is that when a team's changed their manager for you to scout them and sort of work out how they're going to play in terms of your preparation on them?
Well, I don't think much changes, even if they change their manager today. Not much will change come the weekend, but I mean, the form they're in, you wouldn't have thought they'd change their manager anyway. He's done very well since he's come in, and obviously the spirit's still there if they're scoring goals late on. So I'm sure nothing will change. But as I say, if it did, generally the scouting that we've already done and will hold us in good stead, and our scouting system is pretty good at the moment. Some teams are easier than others to find out a lot about them, but we'll know enough and we'll be totally prepared for the game on Saturday.
You joked about the great substitutions on Tuesday night, but what's the secret? What's the secret?
It's only that you laugh. I was being serious.
Of course there were great substitutions, Gary. Thank you. What is the secret to making those work and for substitutes to be coming on and having an impact? Because sometimes players can go on in a game and look like they've spent the last hour out on the bench.
Yeah. Well, we always ask our substitutes to be in the game. So what that means is that sitting on the bench, they've got to concentrate and they've got to imagine that they're in the game. So that's important, so that when they come onto the pitch, their mind's already up to the level of the pace of the game, and where they might get at somebody, where somebody might have a lack of pace, and you've got to feel that you can get at them. So that's the key, really, I suppose, for us, for our subs, that when they come on, they know that they're supposed to affect the game. And how you're going to affect the game, they should have been thinking while they were sitting on the bench. And they have come on, and certainly a manager has to pick the right times to bring somebody on, somebody off. You know, you don't want to be just doing it for the sake of it. Touch wood, I suppose, with the experience over the years, you get most of them right. You get some wrong, of course, because you make subs and you lose a goal and everyone goes, why did he change? And then you don't change and you don't get your goal and somebody says, why didn't he change? So until you're in that position, I know what's going through my mind, and I know I make the substitutions always for the right reasons, and that's either to keep the game or to save the game.
And those subs coming on and making an impact, does that actually come back to the recruitment in the first place, where you were looking to get the right sort of people in, and they'll be the sorts who will be actually sitting there and thinking and watching closely? Yeah,
exactly. They have got that mentality, character, personality, and I always say that. But to want to go out and make a difference, they're not sitting there having spat their dummy out because they're subs. I talk to them all the time. Of course, they'd rather be in the team. But we've had 17 games in a short space of time. The continuity has kept us up there, and all our subs would be in any other team in the National League, definitely. So they just got to wait their opportunity, and it's not affecting Billy too much because he keeps coming on and scoring, and you're thinking, well, do I keep that as a person on the bench that's going to score when he comes on? Or do you start him? And so it's one of them. But I know what Billy wants. Billy wants to play, as does Vaughan, Baser, Rowie. They're all itching to get a game. But I've got to do it right, and I've got to do what I've got to do.
Injuries? How is everyone?
Everyone's okay. Touch wood. It's been great, really, because most of them have been fully fit for the 17 games, which is unbelievable in this short space of time. So it's credit to our warm-up men and our training, our fitness coach, our physio, Russell, Tim, Steve Book. We all work very hard on making sure the sessions are right for any given day. And at the moment, it's good because the boys look strong at the end of games, so we know they're nice and fit. They're all steering clear of any strains that you might get if you're not fit, i.e. hamstrings or calves or something like that. Where you can't anticipate people getting kicked and all that sort of thing. So we're going over on their ankle, but we're certainly getting no lack of fitness injuries.
And how's Elliot Richards progressing? Is he sort of along that timeline where you thought he would be at the moment?
Yeah, he's on schedule. He's got a massive smile on his face. He loves training. He loves getting the odd little practice game that we keep putting on for him. Got another one today, and albeit short and sweet and in-house, but he probably can't wait for the day that he gets the clearance that he's fit enough and ready to be thought about as far as the squad's concerned.
And when that does happen, then you've got an extra player coming into the squad.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we got an extra player, and it's more than that. It's about him having got through a horrendous period, and it's lovely to see people come through that tunnel. They've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and he's within touching distance, and that's great to see his personality and his smile. So it's a wonderful thing that he's been treated and rehabilitated, and he's going to be as right as rain.
Thank you, Gary.
No problem.
You mentioned Billy. How heavily is he knocking at the door now for that start?
Well, as heavy as he was last week, and the week before, and the week before that. He's doing great, and of course he wants to start, as I say, like the others do. But he's got the same amount of goals as Morgs at the moment, I've got to look at the opposition sometimes and see whether I think we need 2 players with presence up there, i.e. Morgs and Wrighty. At the start of the season I was playing Billy just behind them, and it didn't quite work out for a little while, but his confidence is growing and he is champing at the bit to play. So, but again, you can't look at individual things. Sometimes I have to do what's best for the team, and I look at their setup, who I think is going to be more effective over 90 minutes, and who's going to be effective coming off the bench. So it's I could pick him and I could rest somebody, or I could keep him as knowing that I've got 1 goal at least on my bench when I need it.
Yeah.
But he's a great kid, really, and everybody wants to do. But all of those bench players are so very much as part of our squad, and by the end of the season they would have all had enough games to look back at and say, yeah, thanks, you gave me an opportunity there.
Yeah, take you back to something you just said earlier. You said we're getting there. Second in the league, 2 points off top, and still be getting there. That's quite something.
Well, yeah, you're close, but you're still not there. Right?
Yeah.
You are getting there, and you are very close. But for me, getting there is to see my game, our game, regular and for longer in games. When we took over the game at Bromley, funny enough, they got their penalty against the run of play. I think they only had 1 shot in the second half. But once we got our game going and our physical prowess and our running and our passing, 1-touch, 2-touch passing, then there's not many teams are going to live with you. But we have to do it right from the off for however long the game is, and that's our aim. So, as long as we've still got that aim, we'll still be getting there.
Yeah, how much more do you think there is to come from this group then?
I think there's still more. I do. I think there's individually, some of them can affect the game a little bit more because they've got probably more ability than they realise. Don't forget, many of them have not played at this level. Munsey, George, they haven't had that experience of sort of first team proper football, I call it. So Dylan, of course. So they're all still learning the game, and they are getting better. So I'm still excited by thinking that we can get even better.
Finally, on Dylan, there was a man in a Charlton coat in the ground on Tuesday. Yeah. Does it worry you when he has a performance like that and there's somebody from his parent club watching?
Yeah, well, it does. But Charlton are in what are they in? First division?
Championship. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I played them, they were in the first division. Yeah, in the championship, and they've got a very good squad, a very strong squad. They've got a couple of experienced goalkeepers ahead of Dylan. The big thing is Dylan. If he wasn't enjoying it, I'm sure they'd have called him back long before now. But he's loving it, and he's one of us, and he knows. Obviously, he's with us, trying to impress us and Charlton. But his celebration with the fans at the winning goal, you can see how he hates letting a goal in. His antics before the penalty showed that he really didn't want that kid to score. He'd done everything. He screamed at him. He was jumping up in the air. I don't know what he was doing. It put me off anyway. So anyway, didn't make it. But at the same time, his celebration always shows me that his heart's in this team and this club at this moment in time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens after January. But it'd be lovely to keep him.
Yeah, certainly your first conversation will be can we have him for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it will be, and of course they've always got a recall anyway in case they do get an injury to one of their goalkeepers. But again, we're at the moment we're very lucky to have had him fit and with us for this amount of time, and long may it continue.
Excellent.